Was that our prelude? Good morning. Welcome to the Treasure Coast Unitarian Universalist Church in Stuart, Florida. Today's Sunday. Oh no, it's not January 1st, it's January 11th. I am your Janet Grote, your worship associate today. We welcome people of all gender identities, ages, religions, backgrounds, recognizing the inherent worth and dignity of every person. We are here to celebrate, affirm, and to put into action the interconnected living mission of the Unitarian principles that you'll find printed on the back of your order of service. We broadcast and archives our services on YouTube. Hi, YouTubers! And if you'd like to be put on our mailing list, Google Treasure Coast Unitarian. And of course, did everyone remember to silence their cell phones? Visitors. We'd like to now welcome any visitors who are here for the first time or even the second time. Please stand up to the microphone and introduce yourself. Yes.
Where's the lighter? This is the lighter.
Oh, yes.
Good morning. My name is Sarah Davis. My pronouns are she, her. I bring you greetings from the Miami Valley Unitarian Universalist Fellowship, where I'm a member in Dayton, Ohio. And I'm here. Really? We'll have to talk. My husband and I reside in Lebanon, Ohio, and we're here on vacation enjoying the sunshine. And I served as music director for my congregation for 5 years, so I'm really appreciating the beautiful music. Thank you for welcoming me.
Are you going to become a snowbird?
Maybe.
Good morning. My name is Wendy. I'm here from the UU Church First Parish in Portland, Maine.
Welcome, Wendy.
Hi, my name is Cindy Donaldson. I am here visiting my parents, Janet and Jerry Rader from Arizona.
Welcome, Cindy. Okay, we've got some announcements coming up. Make sure you look on your order of service again for other announcements. This morning, we're going to have a couple announcements. First, John Warren has some social justice announcements, and then Pat Burt is going to have some choir announcements.
I'm filling in for Truman while he's not here. I want to remind everyone that for those who want to participate, the Martin Luther King Parade is on January 19th for Martin County, and it will we will gather at 10:30 on Georgia Avenue near Stewart Middle School. So if you're interested in that, look for more details in the announcements, and you can look online to see about it too. Also, next 2 weeks from today, we're going to have a special guest coming to speak to us. And I forgot to write her name down. I'm sorry about that. But she's from Family Promise. And Family Promise is a local organization that helps the homeless and helps with issues related to homelessness. And during the month of February, we're going to be doing our Fill Our Basket weekly second collection for Family Promise. It's an organization that works with a lot of congregations of various faiths, and so we're excited to be connecting with them. And so in February we'll start for 4 weeks. We're going to have that second collection. Thanks.
Pat?
Hi, I'm Pat Burt. I come begging, but not for money, you'll be happy to know. I'm begging for more participation for our choir. A couple of weeks ago, the local paper published an article called Science Points to the Benefits of Singing. Aha. The act of producing sound, and I don't think they just mean jabbering, can strengthen the lungs and diaphragm and increase the amount of oxygen in the blood. It can lower heart rate and blood pressure and reduce the risk of cardiovascular and neurological disease. Group singing provides a mood boost and improves overall well-being, increasing the levels of neurotransmitters such as dopamine, serotonin, and oxytocin. During singing, these may produce feelings of social connection and bonding. If you can hold at least 3 months, we expect you to be here Thursday nights, 7 o'clock. That's it.
Sir.
Hi, I forgot to tell her I had an announcement. I'm Tia Breeding, and since Bob isn't here, I can get away with this. Unfortunately, it's administrative stuff that could be fun too. There's a lot of sign-up sheets on the table that we'd like you to take a look at. Some of them are a little hard to figure out, but we're asking for people who can help get people here from the north, the middle, and the south regions of our area. We're asking for, I can't remember what all else that we are asking for, but go ahead and take a look and then ask questions. The other thing is that this coming Tuesday is our first board meeting of the month, and at our first Sunday, last Sunday, we covered a whole lot of stuff, which was intended to set us up for the board meeting. So the board has a lot to cover, and we have already got 2 people coming. Obviously, you're all invited to come and observe, but if you want to come and say anything, you have to let me know ahead of time so I can make sure I have room for you in the agenda. It's between 1 and 3 on Tuesday afternoon right here.
Shari?
Good morning, I'm Shari Louise. Some of you may have noticed we have a basket now sitting where I greet on Sunday mornings, and that is, as announced in the service last week, that some people are in the habit of bringing a Bible to church. We're suggesting you bring some form of non-perishable food that we can share with the House of Hope on Sunday mornings. Thank you.
Of course, you all know about the brown bag lunch, first and third Tuesday of the month. We meet down the street at noon. Of course, we will have coffee and cookies in the social hall after the service. And a big thanks, as usual, for our helpers in the service. Jackie Robbins on cello, Sandy Craig at the piano, and of course our choir. Our greeters today are husband Pat Tosney, and our hospitality team is now led by Shari Louise, but I saw Joanne Leone and Florence Treckled in there also today. Huh? Oh, Marguerite, I saw Marguerite too. Okay, and today we're going to welcome back Reverend John Brown, who'll of course be in our pulpit. He's always a pleasure to have John Brown with us. John is a cherished regular guest minister here at TCUUC and always brings us a compelling, relevant message. John holds a doctorate in religion from the Claremont School of Theology in California and is a ministerial associate at the Vero Beach UU congregation. He steps in regularly for Sunday services there. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
We always enjoy you having you here. Our prelude, have we already had the prelude, or are we going to have another one? That was a prelude to the prelude. Okay.
That was Philip. I'm supposed to announce things. So I just decided
Uh-uh.
the first piece I'm going to play is a Quran from Johann Sebastian Bach. And for the offertory, I can't remember what it said. I'll open the book and find it.
Thank you, Jackie. We light this chalice for the quiet truths we carry and for the futures we're brave enough to write. In the circle, we honor the courage it takes to live openly, the softness that sustains us, and the joy and power that grows when we gather. As the chalice glows, may we feel steadiness rise in us. May we trust that our becoming, messy, radiant, unfolding, wholly belongs to us. That was by Jamie Yandel. The ground shifts, sometimes slowly, sometimes like an earthquake, reminding us that the solidity we often love and seek is always an illusion. The crumbling dust of the desert plains, the moist fertility of farmlands, the eroding coast of tidal shores, all are changing. New experiences lead to new truths, which foster evolution, the natural course of life, always pushing us towards greater understandings of what it means to be human. Everything about our existence points towards change, flexibility, dynamic recreation. And it's hard because change involves loss. Can we hold back the losses well while not holding ourselves back? The ground shifts, sometimes slowly, sometimes like an earthquake. Nothing is static. Manish Mishra Marzetti. Now, it's time for our first hymn, number 35, Unto Thy Temple, Lord We Come. We're going to sing all the verses. Let us recite our affirmation, singing the first verse. Oh, no, speaking the first verse and singing the second verse. Love the spirit of this church and service to this law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. We're going to have our joys and sorrows next, but I failed to ask someone to move the stones. John, thank you. First, Bob tells us that Suzanne Ellis is in Martin North trying to keep her spirits up as she awaits test results. So please step up to the microphone, tell us your name first, and move a stone in our symbolic river of life to mark each joy and sorrow. Try to keep it personal and brief.
Hi, I'm Bob Royce, and today I brought my own stone to enter into the pan there. This is a heartstone. We have a collection of them at home. Most of them came from beaches up north. This one is concretion, and it came from one of the local beaches. So offering this in grief and joy today. The grief is that we lost Bob Weir yesterday, one of the founding members of the Grateful Dead. And the joy is for the music that he brought to the world for us. It'll always be part of me. So with that said, I wanted to just thank him very much for the long, strange trip.
Thank you, Bob. And now you may have a new chore, Bob, because that stone is much more appropriate than the river rocks we've been using. Regina.
This is a joy. We just got back from 3 weeks out of state visiting all of our family, and we got to see our 6-month-old great-granddaughter and 97-year-old Aunt Hortense. So that was a real joy. One of the sorrows I have is one of my sisters went into the hospital. She lives up here in Vero Beach over the holidays, and she's in rehab now, but she's going to be doing well, and I think in about a week she's going to be out. And this is for our country.
Yes. Anyone else? I'd like to add that I'm very happy to see Ed McMillan here, one of our newbies. He's back. And for those whose joys or sorrows are too private to share, know that our hearts are with you. Now, John is going to read number 657, It Matters What We Believe.
It matters what we believe. Some beliefs are like walled gardens. They encourage exclusiveness and a feeling of being especially privileged. Other beliefs are expansive and lead the way into wider. Some beliefs are like shadows, clouding children's days with fears of unknown calamities. Other beliefs are like sunshine, blessing children with the warmth of heaven. Some beliefs are divisive, separating the saved from the unsaved, friends from enemies. Other beliefs are bonds in a world community where sincere differences beautify. Some beliefs are like blinders, shutting off the power to choose one's own direction. Some beliefs are like gateways, opening wide vistas. Some beliefs weaken a person's selfhood. They blight the growth of resourcefulness. Other beliefs nurture self-confidence and enrich the feeling of personal. Some beliefs are rigid, like the body of death, impotent in a changing world. Some beliefs are reliable, like the young saplings.
Of course, it's now time for Spirit of Life. Join us for hymn number 123, and of course, first we hum, and then we sing.
There is no doubt that we all face daily decisions. In fact, decision-making is called the process of making choices by identifying a decision, gathering information, and assessing alternative resolutions. Using a step-by-step decision-making process can help you make more deliberate and thoughtful decisions by organizing relevant information and defining alternatives. Do I go to worship today? Do I stay home? Do I watch this special TV program tonight, or do I just read a nice, good book? Do I keep that doctor's appointment, that 6-month wellness check that I'm supposed to have, or do I, maybe I just let it go? Well, we're faced with these decisions, and we have all kinds of feelings and responses when we are really confronted with those important decisions. Some decisions we know are easy, some are very complex, and some even are earth-shattering. The beauty of our denomination, I have discovered, is that it encourages us to look below the surface, to slow down and to reflect on the challenges before us. Christine Robinson speaks to decision-making when she says, "In our time of grief, we light a flame of sharing, the flame of ongoing life. In this time when we search for understanding and serenity in the face of loss, we light this sign of our quest for truth, meaning, and community." I like that in our spiritual journey, we're encouraged to seek truth. There is one text that reads in the Bible, "Ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free." And it does free us, doesn't it, when we really find that truth? And then we're to search for meaning. We're to search for really what is meaningful now. And if we don't do this particular behavior, what kind of meaning will we have in the future? What kind of outcome or consequence? And then she stressed that of community. I like our community. I believe our community is well. It's a very healthy community. It's a caring community. We can also turn to our community for insight and for direction, and above all, for support. Thank goodness for the Stewart community. Amen.
Guess what time it is? Offering, yes. Jim and Scott are going to pass the plates around. We're going to wait till the music starts, and then we're going to pass the plates.
And the music is a United States folk song called Aura Lee. You may recognize it as something else that finally someone else was given credit for and got some royalties for writing the words. You're in your head.
Thank you, Jackie, and thank you all for the donations for the church, for our shared hopes and values. Now, here is Reverend John Brown.
Jackie, I like that conclusion. Is that original, that pluck, the end of that? Okay, good. We like spontaneity. I had the great privilege of working with the National and the World Council of Churches in my sophomore year when I was in college. It was a summer experience, and I went to Europe and worked in an emergency hospital for Protestant coal miners, where I served as an orderly in this home as well as a piano accompanist for their devotions. The theme of our mission was barriers in our society. It was a theme we wrestled with and tried to understand, but we discovered that we really needed to go and look at a barrier in our society. So in 1963, I traveled with these group of people to East Berlin with our group, whose members were all in their 20s and represented 12 countries. They told their governments that they were going to visit some friends in Vienna, but instead they went to this ecumenical camp and participated in this hospital. Well, we all went through Checkpoint Charlie, and we were having a very interesting time walking. We noticed some people were following us. And finally, our group leader, a medical doctor and surgeon, stopped, and he turned to us and said, "I have to go back. I have to go back to West Berlin. I can't stay here in East Berlin. We're being followed by the KGB. You do realize that, don't you?" Whoa. No, we didn't. And guess what, Brown? You speak a little German and English. You're in charge. What? So he left our group. He suddenly, just quickly disappeared. And we left. After a while, we walked around and we were anxious, and finally we decided that we would leave there. So after walking for a while, we finally all agreed to do the same as our leader and leave to go into East Berlin, into West Berlin, and to leave East Berlin. So I was the first one to lead our group through the gate to Checkpoint Charlie. We first of all had to stop in East Berlin and go to a counter, and we had to turn over our passport, and they stamped it. And he took my passport and handed me a sheet of paper with a number 132 on it. And he said, "I'll keep the duplicate. I'll come back here in a few minutes." The other members of the camp gave their passports, and they had it stamped, and they went right through the gate. And I was wondering, what's happening here? And after a relatively short period of time, I glanced at the clock, and it was 4:30. And I said, I want my passport back. I really want to get out of here. Everybody was gone. It was 4:30, but a voice inside of me said, "You better speak up. You better not be quiet. You better go to that counter now and ask that person, where the passport, where's your passport?" So I went to the gate, went to the table, and I asked the man, I said, "I'd like to have my passport. Here's my number." He said, "Oh, wait a second. Did you spend $1.50? I said, $1.50? He says, "Yes, we have a city tax." Oh. I didn't know that. Well, you have to go down here, go over here, there's a building, and go in that building and pay the tax. So I did pay the tax, and I came back and I gave the man my numbered receipt, and he did find my passport. However, the numbers did not match. Oh, no. He took a pen, though, and he changed his number from 131 to mine, which was 132, and he gave it back to me. And he said, remember to spend the city tax when you come here again. Oh, I will. You see, the American passport at that time was worth $10,000. And if somebody had this passport, if he gave it to one of his friends, I wouldn't be here this morning. Well, I don't know, but I would certainly be in East Berlin for a longer period of time than I anticipated. I learned a valuable lesson. That is, I need to listen to the voice within inside of me, which says, if in doubt, check it out. If in doubt, check it out. Don't step out. Don't keep quiet. Well, I'm glad I spoke up and did not keep the feelings inside. I didn't let the anxious voice within paralyze me, hold me back. Instead, I listened to a voice that gave me guidance to step up and ask for my passport, which was the best decision, because if I had not, there may have been some very serious consequences. Many of us have a number of voices within us which tell us to do this or to do that, or don't do this or don't do that, or simply keep quiet. Those of us who have an inner voice often listen to it, and sometimes we dismiss it or ignore it, especially when we're making decisions. As Unitarians or friends of this Unitarian Fellowship, we have some guidance from the inner voice. There are voices for some of us which give us the beliefs we hold to be sacred and truthful when we stop and listen to that Unitarian voice. I trust, quote, we believe that all dimensions of our being carry the potential to do good, to celebrate the gifts of being human, our intelligence, our capacity for observation and reason, our senses and ability to appreciate beauty, our creativity, our feelings and emotions, end of quote. To believe this, we need to hear. In the midst of all the monkey chatter that takes place, this healthy voice that does give us insight, does give us direction, and shows us how to live in an appropriate way. There are some people, though, who have an imaginary friend who they communicate with from a childhood, or maybe you have a parent from your past who you still listen to or dialogue with. But as many as 30 to 50% of us process our thoughts with a little voice within us. And I need to say to you, and I think you know this, that many of us have a critical voice which is really not healthy at times. Too often here we hear this domineering, at times tyrannical voice that can be hurtful or negative for ourselves and to others around us. Sometimes it's part of the should, must, and ought system used to express advice, obligation, or necessity. Must indicates a strong obligation. Should is a past voice. Sometimes it's from our childhood. We should do this, we should do that, and we sometimes rebel against that should voice. But sometimes the should voice is healthy and constructive. And the ought, well, it implies a moral obligation. Sometimes it's a very powerful voice, which often says, oh, go ahead and do it. Most of us have a positive and negative inner voice, positive and negative. The positive voice tells us that the deed is caring or giving. Keep it up. You're doing right. You should do that. Or it is a nurturing parent within. If it says you did this well, you should do it again. You should care for others. Then there is the critical voice, which can send negative messages to us. For many people, it says, oh, go ahead, you should do it. It will make you happy. Don't worry about the consequences. I remember one time when that should voice, unfortunately, was very loud in my inner world, and I listened to it. I was in Washington, D.C., visiting various museums at a very young age, and one historical museum housed the Constitution, and I was standing outside about to go in, and I saw a group of keys, though, stuck in that door. They had not opened the door of that museum. No one was around. And it seemed to me if I took these keys, well, I could visit this building anytime I wanted to. I could go to other buildings as well. No one was watching. I didn't see a camera. How great it would be to have the power to go ahead and do what I wanted to just by having some keys. However, another voice entered the conversation. What are you thinking of? That's not right. It's not very religious for you to take the key. Above all, and go into the museum when you want to. It's not okay for you to touch those keys. They do not belong to you. Simply go when the museum opens up inside and visit that museum and then the next one. Well, thank goodness I listened to that voice. That voice that said, don't touch the keys. And thank goodness I listened to it because there really was a camera and there was a man off to the side that I didn't see. That protective, caring voice won out. And that should, go ahead, you should do it, was then turned down. The volume was turned down and then off. You see, there is also a positive critical voice. When I would go to school in Rockville Center, Long Island, there was a walk light just before entering the school property. When it was red, I would often say to myself, I should wait. I should wait until it turns green, and then it's okay to walk. The should, you see, is sometimes, thank goodness, is protective. It can also be a positive parental voice, and it can save my mental and physical health. I really should go every 6 months, particularly as an 81-year-old man, to the doctor and to have the wellness check. In fact, a positive critical voice is about transforming your harsh critic into a supportive, growth-oriented guide using self-compassion. It helps us to reframe negative thoughts and focus on realistic improvement rather than perfection, to really build self-esteem and constructive action, not toxic positivity. It involves noticing the critical voice and consciously replacing it with affirmations and a kinder, more self-narrative, much like a coaching friend. The first principle in our denomination is so important. It's one that I often review. The inherent worth and dignity of every person we are to uphold and believe that reverence and respect for human nature is at the core of Unitarian Universalist faith. So in our spiritual journey, we need to be mindful of the positive should voices. Sometimes the critical voice is opposed to our own self-interest, and we really do need to be aware of it. It can sabotage the view of ourselves and the world we inhabit. The fourth principle in the Principles touches on this theme. Quote, as responsible religious seekers, we recognize that we are privileged to be free, to have resources to pursue life beyond mere survival, to continually search for truth and meaning, to exist beyond bonds of dogma and oppression, and to wrestle freely with truth and meaning as they evolve. So with what's happening to the world on the television, within Washington, within our own communities, within our own homes, we need to stop getting caught up in all the hustle and bustle, and we need to stop and really search for truth, the freeing truth, the liberating truth. We need to find meaning. We need to understand what is meaningful for our lives. Yes, we are called to be aware. If we are not aware, the internal critical voice can sabotage this form of seeking religious truth and meaning. They often say, you are free. Well, you are not free, and you are simply a child. You will never grow up, or you are a failure, or you simply will not succeed in life. That's the critical negative voice. You were this when you were young, and you will always be like this. What an unfortunate tape that we sometimes hear or voice within ourselves. For each day does give us the opportunity for growth and development and change. Those inner criticisms hurt our development, our sense of autonomy, and our pursuit of search for meaning, truth, justice, love, and freedom. So we need to find a voice. We need to find a voice that we can depend upon, a voice that represents reality in a loving, just, and ethical manner. Ideally, we have one major voice that has a great deal of power in our attitude and in our behaviors. That is a voice that is rational and emotionally mature. It guides us to act responsibly, encourages us to be mindful of the consequences to our actions, both verbally and physically. It is not only compassionate, but empathetic as well. This voice encourages us to walk in the shoes of the other person. In essence, it encourages us to be empathetic, to understand, and if we don't, to ask and to inquire what a person is feeling and what they are experiencing. This voice encourages us to walk in the shoes of the others. In essence, it is a voice that encourages us to be a beneficial presence. In being responsible, it says, learn from our mistakes, handle the challenges in life, forgive ourselves from the yesterdays, move on from the past. Don't be paralyzed by what took place yesterday. It encourages us to translate the events around and within us. Some time ago, my mother and I sat down. She was 85 at the time, and she talked about her death. And she was clear with my sister and myself that she did not want to suffer. Well, that phone call finally came. And it was my sister, and she said to me, you need to go to Kentucky and to be with your mother. She is in a coma right now. And when I arrived, I saw my sister, and we went into the hospital room, and we kissed her, and we realized that she was in a very deep coma. The doctor then came in and said that if she gained consciousness, she would not have use of all her faculties, and she would certainly be in pain. The voice within was sensitive to her wishes from the past. And that voice was echoing within myself. We did not want, as she did not want to suffer. The doctor said, you may take her off the oxygen. Let her breathe on her own, and we'll stop the medication as well. The indecisive voice expressed its feelings, and I struggled with that voice, and my sister did as well. But we listened carefully to that beneficial presence within us. And that was one of the most painful dialogues I ever had in my life. But my sister and I decided to take her off the life support and the medication and to see what would happen. Well, I stayed with her that night while she was off the oxygen and the medication. I was with her the whole night and was with her and read to her and touched her hand and waited and listened carefully. My sister then arrived that morning, and she was with my sister and I, and my son arrived as well. And slowly but surely, around 3 o'clock that afternoon, she died. That was tough. It was tough listening to that voice from the past. It was tough listening to the beneficial presence that said, she really does not want to suffer. It would be okay to remove the oxygen and the medicine. What she did was all right. Listening to this powerful, beneficial presence is a mature, caring, responsible, ethical voice to be attentive to. And you need to build on that voice and continue to feed it healthy input and healthy thoughts and responses. The voice involves looking at a situation not just from one perspective, but from various perspectives. It sometimes encourages us to go into the community, this community, and to talk to some people and to gain some insight and some input. The decisions are not easy that we are all called to make. Like in the case of my mother, it's indescribably difficult. When you are present, it is helpful to focus in on the needs, the wants, the expectations as of self as well as of others, and be mindful that this inner voice is not arrogant or self-centered, but is caring of self and other self-centered. In fact, the voice says you can learn from others and realize that you are part of the larger world. So let's make a pact if you're open to it. When we are faced with decisions, major or minor, this morning or this afternoon, tomorrow or the next day, let's try to be curious. To practice empathy is important in responding to this voice. Seeking information is helpful, and above all, having an open mind and, yes, an open heart. Being kinder to ourselves as well as to others is extremely important. Because in the world, in the end, a world with less judgment is a world with more connection, more understanding, and certainly more happiness. As one of our principles reads, we need to have a goal of the world with peace, liberty, and justice for all, working for a better global community. Amen. May we turn to hymn number 20. Those who are able, stand. Be thou my vision, O God of my heart, not be all else to me, save that thou art. Thou my best thought by day or by night, waking or sleeping, thy presence my light. Be thou my wisdom, and thou my true word. I ever with thee, and thou with me, God. Thou my soul's shelter, thou my high tower. Raise thou my heavenward, O power of my power. Riches I need not, nor worthy praise. Thou my inheritance, now and always. Thou and thou only, first in my heart. Heaven of heaven, my treasure, thou art. Let's be seated. And now I invite all of you to go forth in simplicity. Find and walk the path that leads to compassion and wisdom, that leads to happiness, insight, peace, and ease. Welcome the stranger. Be a beneficial presence and open your heart to a world in need of healing. Be courageous. Be so courageous before the forces of hate, and hold and embody a vision of the common good that serves the needs of all people. Amen.
Thank you.